Fox News host Tucker Carlson was off last week. I'm sure many of you were absolutely devastated by this. There was even a conspiracy theory floating around that the FBI waited to raid Donald Trump's home in Florida until Tucker Carlson was off the airwaves so that he wouldn't be in studio to give a fiery response to it all. Well, one of the guest hosts last week for Tucker was Brian Kilmeade, who aired a doctored photo of the judge who signed off on the search warrant of Donald Trump, depicting him hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell. But the host on last Friday's show is the one I want to talk about here today, and that was none other than Tulsi Gabbard, which may come as a shock to you all, right? Because Tulsi Gabbard, I thought she was a liberal. She ran for president in 2020. On the Democratic side, she was called even more progressive and more principled than Bernie Sanders, of all people. Well, it's not clear that she ever was those things or ever held strong ideological beliefs at all, or if she was always grifting, or as some allege, that she's working for a foreign country. That's what Hillary Clinton said. She's been inching, Tulsi that is, more and more to the right over time, going on Fox News, voting present on Donald Trump's impeachment vote to heal the country. And she also spoke at CPAC last year, and now the grift is complete because she has filled in for Tucker Carlson on his show, Tucker Carlson Tonight. And what did she do during the show? Did she talk about universal health care, or did she talk about criminal justice reform, or any of these other issues that a true progressive would want to share with a Fox News audience? No, she instead decided to run interference for Donald Trump. Let's watch some of Tulsi's monologue and pick it apart and see if there's anything progressive here at all in this commentary, or if it's like anything else that you could find from a Fox News personality.
Now, whatever your views are on Donald Trump, there's no denying that the unprecedented raid on his Palm Beach home earlier this week has set our country on a dangerous new course, and there's no turning back. The FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago changed the country that we grew up in. We grew up believing that, hey, our government will apply the law equally to all Americans, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We're seeing more and more that that country no longer exists.
Okay, so we're only 26 seconds into the monologue, and I already have to cut it short and step in here because there's already a lot to break down. So Tulsi says that the raid on Mar-a-Lago was unprecedented, which, yes, it was, but also what Donald Trump did as president and what he's accused of doing in a criminal context, that's also unprecedented. So, as David likes to say, when you have unique inputs, you're going to have unique outputs. Just by saying that what the FBI and the DOJ did was unprecedented, that doesn't mean that it was necessarily wrong or unjustified. Tulsi then talks about how the FBI raid has set us on a dangerous course from which we cannot turn back. Again, it was Donald Trump who set us on this course. The FBI was merely responding to the actions that the former president allegedly did, as is their job as a law enforcement agency. That is, after all, what they do. And then Tulsi appeals to the elderly Fox News demographic by giving this rainbows and rose petals and gumdrop depiction of the America we once knew, the America that we knew growing up, saying that that America is long gone because now the law is no longer being applied equally. And this is dumb for a couple of reasons. Like, for one, it never really was this way. We never really had this glossy depiction of America and having a perfect criminal justice system. We've always had a two-tiered justice system, especially as it breaks down on racial and class lines. But then also, what the FBI and the DOJ are doing, investigating Donald Trump because they believe he committed crimes, that is applying the law equally. Applying the law unequally would be saying, like, okay, well, we think he's guilty, we think that he did illegal stuff here, but he's a former president after all, he's a billionaire, he's a powerful person, so we're going to let him get away with it. We're just going to look the other way. So that would be unjustified. That would be a backwards depiction of the country. So it's taken me, 2 minutes here to break down the nonsense that Tulsi was able to spew in 26 seconds. Let's keep playing the clip and see if it gets any better at all.
Law enforcement at the highest levels of government, whether it's the DOJ, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and now even the IRS, have been weaponized to target the political opponents of the Uniparty, the permanent Washington, and the Biden regime. Attorney General Merrick Garland has already issued a stark warning to anyone who dares to disagree with these tactics that are all hallmarks of a dictatorship.
Let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked.
So you are not allowed to disagree with the FBI. That is the new message.
All right, so we again have to stop it here and jump in. So Tulsi first brings up the story about Biden hiring a bunch of new IRS agents by way of the Inflation Reduction Act as a way to raise funds for government programs and to make sure that people making over $400,000 a year aren't cheating too much on their taxes. She tries to tie that in with the FBI's investigation of Donald Trump. Objection, relevance, how are these two things related in the slightest? They're not. And then Tulsi plays a clip of Merrick Garland refuting the idea that the DOJ isn't just following the law and that there's some political motivations behind what they're doing. And Tulsi twists that into saying you're not allowed to disagree with the FBI as if your free speech rights are being curtailed. That's even what they had as the lower third graphic. You're not allowed to disagree with the FBI. Completely absurd and definitely a manipulation of the video that she played. So there's Tulsi Gabbard for you, filling in for Tucker Carlson, definitely taking a page or two out of his propaganda playbook. It's long been speculated that Tulsi is vying for a job at Fox News, and after seeing that, what was clearly an audition, it does feel like that's the career path that her career is heading in. When she left Congress at the beginning of last year, there was speculation as to what was next for Tulsi. I always thought it was a Fox News gig, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Maybe they just want to have her train a little bit more with these guest appearances. Maybe they're trying to find the right dollar amount for her salary. Maybe they're trying to figure out what the best time slot is for her. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if in the next 6 months, Tulsi has her own show on Fox News. We're going to go to a break. We'll be back with more of the David Pakman Show right after this.